Blackpool Pleasure Beach is no more. All hail Pleasure Beach Resort! Okay, so yesterday, at the time of filming, we got some interesting news. I think many people had seen this coming because there'd been kind of indications in some of Pleasure Beach's marketing where they'd kind of sneakily called themselves Pleasure Beach Resort, and people were wondering, is this the new name? Is this the new direction they're going? Well, yesterday, their social media, all of their profile pictures were updated. We got the new logo, the new name. It's now confirmed. And to say the social media hasn't been particularly kind would be an understatement. I actually think it's a really good thing. So first of all, let's get the controversy out of the way. People are complaining about two or three different things. The first one is they've dropped Blackpool from the name. And this one I can kind of agree with, if I'm honest, because there are other pleasure beaches in the UK, so to not explicitly call out that this is Blackpool Pleasure Beach Resort seems a little strange. I'm curious about that one. I'm wondering if that will kind of persist or if they might sneak Blackpool back in there again. The name itself, other than that, I don't mind. The other concern that people have got is just the logo itself and the colour scheme. There's a deep blue with kind of yellow writing. It's been compared to various other logos, Ryanair, Megabus, to name but a few. I don't mind it so much. I think it's similar to when Thorpe Park rebranded a couple of months back. Got a video up there where I talked about that one as well. Again, whenever there's change, people tend to be against it, right? Nobody seems to like change. And I think that's basically what's happening here. Now people are also saying, oh, you know, it's another boring logo that is just a font. There's nothing fancy about it. The previous one was an exclamation mark, so the previous one didn't have anything. And I think they did miss a little bit of a trick here as well. They've started to reintroduce Mr. Funshine in various parts around the park. There's some merchandise. They've got a big sign outside now. They could have somehow integrated that in, maybe in one of the O's. I don't know. There's options they probably could have done there. I think they missed the trick to kind of hark back to that. If you look at things like Alton Towers are doing with Nemesis Reborn, they're kind of bringing a little bit of retro back. They've gone back to that old logo. Pleasure Beach here they've kind of kept the same font, the same kind of different size characters, etc. But they could have put a little bit of retro in there and put Mr. Funshine back in. So I think they missed a trick there. But in general, I like the direction that they're going for various different reasons. It's clear there is so much going on in the park. You've got to think, they don't have the budget of the big boys. They don't have the Merlin Entertainment budget. And clearly with rumblings of things like Universal coming to the UK, you could say that there's a bit of pressure on them. I actually think that because they're more of an amusement park than a theme park, they are family run, they have the heritage, they have the old rides. I think that they've got enough going for them to compete against these guys, because I think it's a very different proposition. However, you can see that they're doing so many different things. There's been some footage, people showing that the arcade at the entrance has been gutted. It'll be interesting to see when that reopens, or when the park reopens, should I say, next month, what they do with that. Are they just kind of tidying it up and putting the arcades back in? Are they doing something completely new with it? We've obviously got some planning permission in to reuse all those buildings on the promenade into, I think, not quite an Airbnb, but a further accommodation, which again ties into this resort thing. They do obviously have two hotels, Boulevard and the Big Blue. I've stayed in both. Boulevard is probably the nicest hotel in Blackpool. It is stunning. Definitely a great asset for the park. You've also got things like the rumours about rides disappearing, right? I mean, we've obviously, again, I've got another video up there where there's speculation about a few rides. Ice Blast being probably the most likely to disappear at the end of this year. It's definitely not fighting on all cylinders, and there's been a lot of people spotted markings on the floor around it, so there's definitely something going on there. I suspect it will get removed at the end of this season and replaced with something. There's also some queries around Grand Prix, which hasn't operated very much last year. It did operate, but I was there numerous times and it was closed. You've also got Avalanche, which was running on a single train. I believe the other train was off getting some work done by Mac, so the two trains are still there. I'm not sure if they're going to remove that one. I think when I kind of put a poll up, that was the one people the least wanted to see removed. And then there's the Red Force ride, which I never go on, and it's never busy. And so many people can't make the damn thing go upside down. There's been some talk that that'll disappear and potentially be an expansion for the hotel. So I think if they are going with this resort mentality, it's great that they've got that kind of accommodation. They've obviously got the 2 hotels. This is why I've not posted a video in over a week. It's great that they've got those two hotels, and clearly looking to put some more accommodation in. The thing is, to make this a resort, there needs to be some advantage and some things that go with staying on site, right? And right now, there's not really anything per se, right? I mean, when you book the Boulevard, you can book a park ticket at the same time. Pretty sure you don't get a discount on it. You can use that south entrance in the morning only, which I don't understand. At the end of the day, the train will stop at that entrance about 15 minutes before the park closes. Like, there's all these little things that if you're in the park, so say you're at the big one, you're staying on site and you need to get something from the hotel, you have to walk all the way to the other side of the park, exit the park, and then walk all the way back along the promenade to get to the hotel, to get what you need, to walk all the way back along the promenade, back through the park again. It's just crazy. Like, there is that other entrance. They do allow hotel guests to use it first thing in the morning. Why not just let them use it all day? You know, that would be a great selling point. Same goes for the train. Again, there's a station at the 2 hotels, but they only use it once. I don't see why they wouldn't just have the train stop there. Or potentially you need to kind of let the driver know at the start, so they know to stop. You know, so only if somebody's mentioned it or there's somebody waiting at the platform do they stop. There's ways they could do that, and it wouldn't massively interfere with any operations. I mean, the train is every 15 minutes. I think they need to do something in terms of that ticket tie-in, you know, whether it is, you know, a discount on the tickets, or maybe it's an inclusive speedy pass for one ride. You see that in a lot of parks. You look at not bigger parks actually. I'm going to mention Phantasialand. They are a comparable size to Blackpool. Beautiful park, very immersive, one of my favourites. But if you stay in, say, the Charles Lindbergh, you get express pass on the fly. You know, so there's some tie-in there. There's something to encourage you to stay on site. So I think if they're putting resort as their new name, then they obviously need to fully encompass everything and make it a proposition, a package, and not just, we've got the park and we've got some hotels. But I still think that it is a very positive move. I genuinely think within the next few years, we're going to look back and have seen so much transformation in the park. There is enthusiasts, we're always like, what's the next thing? We want to know what the next ride is. I think Pleasure Beach is looking at this more strategically. You can see a lot of the stuff they're doing. You know, they've added a couple more events this year, or last year I should say. There was all the Pleasure Beach Club, which was a free club, and they've done the behind the scenes. I'm going to one in March, the behind the scenes for the Ghost Train, which I'm really looking forward to. So they're starting to do a lot of things like that. There's obviously the big debate about what they should do about tickets, in terms of, you know, some people are frustrated that they still have the scan on the rides thing, myself included, because at the moment they don't have a ticket to just walk around the park. I know many people want that back. Wouldn't bother me if it didn't come back, but if they are not bringing it back, then everybody in the park has paid to access the rides, so why are you scanning? So I think they need to kind of sort that out and either bring that other ticket back or scrap the scanning. That would be a huge step. They've obviously got their new shop in the casino building, which is beautiful, you know, and another great asset for them. So they're doing so much. Now, obviously, Valhalla, I suspect, has kind of derailed a few things. You know, it took a lot longer than expected. I believe it cost more than they expected. You know, and they are still a relatively small park. They are an independent. They don't have, you know, millions and millions and millions of a budget. And actually, I believe when their numbers came out for last year, it was the entertainment and the hotels that were kind of, not so much propping them up, but the more profitable parts of the business. So you can see, if that's where they're getting their money, it's going to be where they focus. And I genuinely think it's going to take Pleasure Beach, and I will always call it Blackpool Pleasure Beach, even though that is no longer its name, it's going to take it in a new direction. And I'm actually really excited about it. You know, it has been my favourite park, you could say. It's the park I went to as a child. I mentioned it in so many videos. So it's always going to be near and dear to me. And I just want to see what's next for the park. I'm just really excited. Now, I'm kind of curious. Obviously, in general online, there seems to have been a lot of backlash. As I say, I'm reserving judgment. If I look at others, so when Drayton Manor changed their logo, wasn't a fan. Now kind of just looks normal to me. Thorpe Park, definitely that one kind of caught everybody off guard. Now that I've seen them use it in different scenarios, I kind of get it. And I suspect the same will be true here. I'm sure that, you know, whilst it was a bit of a shock when everybody saw it, we're all going to look back and go, oh yeah, that's their logo, it makes sense. It's not, you know, it just becomes the norm, you know, it's just change. But I would love to hear down below what you think. You know, are you a fan? Are you positive about the future? Are you worried about the future? Do you think they're going in the wrong direction? You know, what would you do? So yeah, let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, because I will be in America next week. I've got about 20 videos planned over there. And I have stupidly set myself a goal of 10,000 subscribers by January next year. So need your help. Hit that button for me, please. I have been Chris. You've been watching Coaster Dad. See you in the next one. Adios.